Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Michael Sabitoni, President of the Rhode Island Building and Construction Trades Council. Just as a quick disclaimer, this bump on my head, contrary to whispers, did not happen out in the hallway. Unfortunately, it was a sporting accident last night.
Or rumors you might have started as well.
So, I'm going to talk about a little bit of the policy of the bill, but I'm also going to talk about the effects of the bill, because talking about the specifics in the three verses in that bill are one thing, but talking about the overall impact that this bill will have, the adverse impact on the state of Rhode Island, is of paramount importance to the building trades, to the business community, quite frankly, I think all of Rhode Islanders. No disrespect to any of the Burrillville residents that are here. I commend them for coming down and being passionate and taking stock in government and expressing their views. However, make no mistake about this, this has nothing to do with policy. It has nothing to do with the legality. This has everything to do with killing this project in that town. And unfortunately, things have to go somewhere. I totally disagree to the fact that this is not a statewide issue or that local residents should have an issue with local things when they affect the whole state, and for this instance, the whole region. And I'll give you a couple for instances. T.F. Green Airport. So, expansion a couple of years or so ago. Residents around the airport obviously don't like an airport. Very noisy. Airplanes coming in, distractions, inconvenience. So next time we want to expand the airport, we'll put a voter referendum in the city of Warwick to expand it, relocate some streets. Unfortunately, have to do some things, eminent domain. Let's put it up for a voter referendum, and what do you think will happen? Probably go down. Department of Corrections in Cranston. Ask the surrounding community if they like housing the Department of Corrections. Unfortunately, we have individuals that do not do right things by society. They need to be incarcerated. So they need to be located somewhere in a certain community. So the city of Cranston houses the Department of Corrections. Next time we need to expand the Department of Corrections, hopefully we won't have to, or relocate or recite the Department of Corrections, let's put that up for a voter referendum, what the tax increases should be or whatever the treaty would be, and let the local voters decide in a local community, because unfortunately that'll probably go down. And just as for full disclosure, for people to think that I don't have skin in this game, next week will be 49 years born and raised. I reside in the town of Johnston. Born and raised 4 miles from the Johnston landfill. I raised my kids 3 miles from the Johnston landfill. I can live in any other community I want in the state of Rhode Island. I choose to live in the town of Johnston because I love that town. Residents in that town have been burdened with the trash of the other 39 communities of the state of Rhode Island for decades. The local community every year has prompted their reps and senators to come down here and put a piece of legislation in to stop, to cap, to do something with that landfill. Let's put that up for a voter referendum in the town of Johnston. I guarantee you that would go down 100% of expansion of that landfill. So as a resident of that town, I got involved. I actually sit on that board, and I'm the chairman of the Resource Recovery Corporation. So I know what it is and what it takes to be involved in something that's emotional, that has environmental impacts, that affects the local community with emotion and passion, and it's tough issues. I actually went on that board to see how to make it better and get involved, because unfortunately, things have to go someplace. This is not an issue about the town of Burrillville. Unfortunately, our gas infrastructure runs right through that town. There's a compressor station that's been in that town for 50 years. I've attended every single hearing up in that community, and you'll hear other people come up here and testify. One thing you won't hear are bad things about Ocean State Power, which was built almost 30 years ago. I worked on that project personally for 2.5 years on its impact, its burden to the community. 3 hearings, 12 hours. Not one bad thing. All of a sudden, 2 are going to be detrimental. Changing the rules of the game midstream is not a signal we want to send. It has nothing to do with policy. It has nothing to do with a local community to get a say. It has everything to do with stopping and killing this project. all the good work that the General Assembly has done for the last 2 years, and you should be commended for what you've done to pull Rhode Island out of a recession, will be for naught if the signal that we send now and the precedent that we send for any community that can whip up a frenzy, get the attention of their rep and their senator, come down here and say, we want a bill and we want a say. 1940s or 50s, you think the city of Cranston wanted to see a SWAT dug right through the middle of that community? Right? State government has a thing called eminent domain. So those homes were taken by eminent domain to create and construct Route 95. If you ask those voters at that time, did they want an interstate to go right through their community? Answer probably would have been no. Interstate's got to go somewhere. So we are in strong opposition to this bill. No disrespect to the town of Burrillville. This is a state issue. This is a region-wide issue. You look at green jobs and the cost on what they cost. Everybody wants to turn towards green. I know most of the reps and senators remember. The building trades are not climate change deniers. If anything, we were the strongest supporter and advocate for the offshore wind farm, for solar, for wind. Jobs are jobs, green or any other kind of job. Unfortunately, those jobs cost a considerable amount of money. They are very difficult to finance, and without major incentives, for us to get to where we want to get in green energy, we still need projects such as this, which will be the most efficient gas-fired plant in the country. Embedded in some of the opposition in here is the environmentalists who do not like natural gas, frack gas, whatever you want to call it. My men work in that industry, and we work to promote its safety, to make it as environmentally conscious as possible, so that our men that are on the front lines, in direct proximity of these projects, have the utmost in safety while they're working on those projects. But there's one thing that people don't realize, that everybody likes $2 an hour gas, and they like the cost of home heating oil all of a sudden. All that is attributed to natural gas, the abundance of it. We strongly oppose this midstream. We need the project. We need the jobs. New England has some of the highest energy costs. You have 3 major power plants in the New England region that are coming offline in Pilgrim, in Somerset, and Vermont. 2 nuclear and a coal. We're going to replace it with the most efficient natural gas-fired power plant in the country. So I get tough decisions, and I have a saying, if leaders made easy ones, everybody would be one. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I implore you, as leaders, elected officials, to do the right thing, oppose this, and let's get building the power plant and secure a predictable, affordable, reliable energy for the state of Rhode Island and the rest of the region. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Sabitoni. Questions? Representative Regenberg?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. You talked a lot about the need for this, for the state and the region. What I'm confused about is my understanding, the megawatt capacity went to the ISO New England auction. A huge portion of it was left on the table. So it seems like the argument that there is this pressing need for the region or for the state, I guess, how would you explain those two?
Well, I don't profess to be an ISO representative or expert, but I will say just the fact that I mentioned that there are 3 power plants currently coming offline that are supplying energy to the region. Now, if you be a rocket scientist to figure this out, need to be replaced. And, whether they look at whatever the cycle is to figure out, the imminent need, maybe as a season. There was an article in the Journal, and I heard somebody testify, I forget what hearing, I've been at so many, that the energy outlook for the summer looks like it's going to be pretty good. And they cherry-picked what they extracted out of that article in the Journal. Because basically what that article said, if we do not have a considerably warm summer, then demand should be adequate. You have a summer of an extended period of 90-degree days with air conditions through the roof, then all bets are off. So I don't know what equation they're using, but I will tell you this. The facts are the facts. You have a considerable amount of megawatts coming offline in the next 3 years. And I don't know what's going to replace them. And they must be powering something because they're running every day.
And I guess I'm not an expert either, so I don't know. My assumption is that in the ISO New England auction process, they're taking those things into consideration. They're making determinations based on we think this much megawatts is coming in, this much is coming out, and that's sort of factored in.
Yes, and the current proposal now is to build the first 500 with the ability to add the additional 500, which I understand every February those auctions take place, and it's our understanding come February the other 500 megawatts will be approved and be purchased. So it all has to do with rates and money and purchase and what have you. You have to have the need in order to provide for the project. But it's my understanding come February that this project will be a 1,000 megawatt project. Currently it's 500.
Any other questions? Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Sabitoni.
Chairman.